Greetings, everybody. It's RPG Grandma with Warriors of Mars series, the TSR game that was and then wasn't, 1974. So we've gone over mass and individual combat for missiles was our last one, and the missile tables. And we've done, man-to-man combat and animal combat, also on the adventure level. And that's what we're going to continue. We will get back to the mass land and then mass aerial combat rules, last, because we're trying to focus on the role-playing game aspect of this first. So, individual adventures. So let's see what the book has to say and what we can learn. In order to allow for this type of play, it is necessary that a referee oversee the effort. The referee must prepare some large-scale maps of various areas of Barsoom, as well as city plans for the deserted metropolises, which ring the edge of the dry sea bottoms. On these maps, he will indicate the presence of unusual terrain features, green Martian hordes, animals, strange races, treasures, or whatever he deems applicable. The adventurers will then set out afoot, on thoats, or by flyer, in whatever direction they wish, without seeing the referee's maps. He will inform them of what they find along the way, and gradually the adventurers will develop more or less accurate maps of the area they have traveled. The purpose of these adventures is not simply to map, however, it is to gain fighting ability that individuals risk their lives in the Barsoomian wilderness. For with each successful combat with men or animals, with the acquisition of lost treasure, the individual moves up the levels towards the unreachable plane where John Carter reigns alone. All right, so this is a bunch of information, actually, even though it's like one paragraph. All right, referees, you're going to have some mapping work to do. There are ways to make that harder on yourself and ways to make that easier on yourself. Keep it simple. You can always add more. It's my advice. Now, we know we're playing a sandbox game in the most classic, craziest form. We know that there's 3 modes of travel. On foot, on thoat, or in a flyer. We know that we're starting out in the Dead Seas area where these cities are, where the Red Martians live. All right. And we know that the purpose for going out into the wilderness, besides mapping and discovering the unknown, which is a real thing, is to look for ancient treasure. That could be lost scientific stuff, is to locate and explore old ruins, gain more information, and definitely move up in status by going out and becoming better fighters. It's a status thing, really. So Barsoom is a bravado, macho kind of place to live. It is the man's world. Okay, that's something you've really got to embrace in this game, in this setting, is that you are supposed to go out and do brave things. Doesn't mean everybody does, but that's kind of like the cultural overlay. But on the other hand, also everybody's terrified. They live in isolation. That's why they don't know what's out there much. The wastelands are extremely dangerous. There's a reason you don't hear about thoat caravans across the wastelands. There are green men hordes out there. So it would be possible for one city-state to send caravans to another city-state back and forth, but nobody does it because the green horde will get you. All right? The carnivorous apes will eat you. The banths will run you down. It is a dangerous place to go. You do not want to crash there. If there are other humans roaming around there, they are probably unpleasant and dangerous as well. So it's people don't go out into the wastelands. They fly over the wastelands. That's what they do. They fly over the wastelands. So you would think, well, there's got to be a lot of air travel. Not really. And there's reasons for that. So the best way I can explain it is, imagine if you had cultures, all of them living in a constant state of fear and siege. They might not be in siege against each other. They may even know, and they may even they may come and visit each other, and there might be some trade, but via the flyers. But people stay close to the home for a reason. That it's scary out there. And if the flyers crash, you are at the mercy of whatever's on the ground and whomever is on the ground. And they want your stuff because this is a resource poor environment where everybody's protecting their resources. They have formed their city-states to protect themselves from the environment, from the greenmen, from each other. So that is kind of the environment you are talking about. You also need to make some decisions, even though you don't talk about it in this section, but it will get talked about eventually. Is John Carter even on the planet yet? Because it makes a difference on the city-state of Helium, which is really more an empire. It's really, when you think about how the cities are on Barsoom, Helium is extremely powerful. It is made up of at least 2 cities, and it can field the most flyers. It can field the biggest armies, and that's before the Green Horde becomes aligned with Helium. One of the Green Hordes, one of the tribes. So it is incredibly powerful. So it's the empire, Are you starting them in Helium as part of the empire? Are you starting the players out in your own city-state? That's like a second, third-rate city-state. It's not the most biggest one. And they're going to go find out what's out there. And they're on some kind of mission. Are they people escaping from a city-state? These are all things you have to think about. And like I said, has John Carter showed up to knock over the apple cart on Mars yet? Or that hasn't happened? Or he came, he went, nobody's seen him forever, and things are back to normal. So that's what I'm getting at, is you have some decisions to make, and you don't have to make them all at once, but you do have to think about where you're starting the players. And why are they going out into the wilderness? Are they escaping? Are they, are they supposed to go out and go map some ruin, or are they supposed to go out and try to find some ancient artifact for some reason? That kind of thing. And that can help limit your work a little bit. But you are doing a legit old school sandbox. And so that is definitely something to think about when you start playing this game. And it is dangerous outside, and everybody knows it. So despite wanting to be brave, they also don't want to die. Oh, and nobody really seems to use the canals the way we would use them. And there's reasons for that. So boats exist, but they're simply not used as a merchant marine fleet, basically.